The thing I like about that song is it tells the whole story of Jesus in 5 verses, so I don't really have to say anything, which would be a gift, wouldn't it? So the one thing that I wrestle with every day, and especially on Thursday night and Sunday morning when I'm supposed to say something, I realize, to me, religion is very simple. In fact, the essence of religion and spirituality is captured in the gospel that Ken just read. Jesus is about ready to leave his disciples, and he says this: I give you a new commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. And if you love one another as I have loved you, then people will know that you are my disciples. It can't get much simpler than that. And yet the world that we live in, I mean, you know as well as I do, it can be harsh, it can be violent, it can be divided. And so how does that love stuff make the world any different or any better? Look at what's happened in the last 24 hours. That slaughter in the supermarket in Buffalo. And it's not just there, it's all over the place. I mean, at the Bean in Chicago, somebody's killed. And people go to the Bean because it's a tourist attraction. And there is violence and division all over the country. And of course, we continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. And so, what difference does this new commandment of love make in the world that we tread in every day? You know, I was watching the sunrise again over LaGrange Road, and I realized that's the same sun that will rise over Ukraine. It's the same sun that will rise over the supermarket in Buffalo. It's the same sunrise that'll rise over a homeless person that's trying to stay warm on Wacker Drive. And I guess I realized more and more, and I got away for a few days this week, and I just thought a lot. And I realized that love bucket we talk about, that crazy wooden love bucket that's been sitting there for years, I realized it's more than just a love bucket. Because when the love bucket gets inside your guts, it makes a difference in the way that you look at the world. The moments and the people that we so often take for granted, when you think of the love bucket, there's a deeper sense to all that ordinary stuff. When the love bucket gets inside your guts, you realize that Ukraine is not just a foreign country. Ukraine is a place where our brothers and sisters live. And they are us, and we are them. When you have the love bucket inside your guts, that gentleman in front of you in the checkout line who's trying to get enough change out of his pocket to pay for his groceries, it's kind of like you want to pay the groceries for him and follow him home and make sure he's okay. It's like when you're on vacation and you walk outside your room and somebody walks in to clean that room. You look at that person different and you kind of hope, I wonder if that person understands the dignity of the work that he or she is doing. Or how about the gentleman at the mall? He's in a wheelchair by himself in the hallway and he drops something on the floor. So when the love bucket is in your guts, you go pick it up for him. And then he says, thank you. And does he realize that the word thank you is magic in your soul? You see, when the love bucket gets inside your guts, you take all those ordinary moments and somehow, some way, they look just a little bit different, that maybe the good Lord lives in those moments that we see every day. You know, too often, my perspective is about me, even though I try to talk a good game on Sunday. It's like walking into church last Thursday night. And you walk inside the door and you say, I wonder where the minister is. And they say, well, he's gone this week. And you kind of go, the guy works one day a week and he can't show up on a Thursday night. And so you stay, and when it's time for the sermon, a lady gets up from the front row. An ordinary person, an ordinary member, and she talks about what the church means to her. And she talks about what it's like every morning to drive to bring her disabled brother to church every Sunday at the second service. And she talks and says, my brother can't speak out loud. But when he sits in church and folds his hands, he speaks louder than I could ever speak. And then it's time for communion. And of course, you're not going to have communion when the minister isn't here, but no. 2 ladies get up. And they bless the bread and the wine. And they share the wine with those around the altar. And you realize that the church is ordinary people in ordinary moments, and in that ordinariness, magic can speak to us. That's what happens when the love bucket gets inside your guts. So Friday we fly back, and the flight is 2.5 hours late. And so we finally get back to Chicago, and we sit on the tarmac for 45 minutes. Okay. We finally get inside, and it's time to get the luggage, and the luggage machine is broken. And so it's 11:30 at night. We're supposed to be back about 6 or 7. And Peggy goes to get the car, and there's a lady right next to me. And she says, this has been a really, really long wait. And I said, yes, it has been a long wait. But you know who has a longer wait? That family in Ukraine trying to get on a bus to safety. That's a long wait. This is inconvenient. And she says, yeah, I guess life is a matter of perspective. For years and years, many people have been waiting for Jesus to come back. But you see, when the love bucket gets inside your guts and you do an ordinary act of kindness to somebody you don't even know, then you realize Jesus is already back. And religion and spirituality is a matter of perspective. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed.